Alright. Cheers. Now I'm trying to be more, I'm just beginning my YouTube journey, but I think authenticity is key, so I kind of don't want it to be like, you sit down in this lovely lit studio all the time and just like, bam, on. Studio lights, you're just like performing. I don't like that. I like, sort of, it's not really like the vlog style, it's just more like authenticity. Like, hey, what are you doing this week? How are you scaling your business? I hate that term, scaling, just because everyone uses it, including AI. Anyway, how are you scaling your business? What are you doing in your business? What cool things are you thinking about? So to bring more authentic, why not bring a coffee to the studio, quote unquote. Okay? Good. So, front-facing founders. One, what is a front-facing founder? But two, I'm a front-facing founder. A front-facing founder, basically I look at it as a founder of a business, and they are the public face of that business. So, it doesn't mean you're like preaching from the rooftops about your business or your expertise, but it does in a content way in the online world. So if you're a front-facing founder, you're basically out there as the face of your brand, appearing in lots of content online. It's kind of as simple as that. And it's all using your personal brand as a marketing funnel back to your business. That's the best way I can explain it. And I think it's a really cool thing happening at the moment. You see it with the likes of, Gary Vee. I'm in my Gary Vee era, if that's a thing. I've always known who Gary Vee is, but there's something about his content that I'm really enjoying lately. It's kind of just like motivating, and even if he seems like he's screaming at you to do stuff, I kind of like that.
The reason most people don't post enough is they still think life is high school and they're insecure and they're worried someone's gonna make fun of them, or it's not gonna do good. It's not gonna do good? Who gives a...
It's kind of cool. Anyway, Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, Vin Jiang. Another one of my favorites is Vin, who's in Adelaide, South Australia. I'm also from Australia, so there's that connection there. Basically, you'll think of the person before the business, but it leads back to the business. It's just a bigger way of growing and making your clientele feel closer to you as people. You are going to naturally feel, you're going to trust a person much more than a logo, which brings me to one of my favorite sayings that I always go back to when I think about this type of stuff, and that is a person always beats a logo. Because you tell me, if a new brand gets launched, or maybe they're 5 years in, 3 years in, whatever, if they get launched and you just see a logo and a sweet looking corporate brand, that's cool. But no, if you have a person at the front of that, tell me who you warm more to. And that's the biggest idea, and that's the biggest part of being a front-facing founder in my eyes. So it's something I'm really into, and it's because I'm kind of practicing it as we speak. Like I'm doing it. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, everything. You basically, because it's your business, but it's also a passion. So I feel the need and the want to put myself out there to make people aware of my business. And that's, I think, the best part. And it's a massive growth opportunity because, as I was saying, humans just relate to humans. So if you're a founder and you're hiding behind a logo, essentially, even though that sounds kind of weird, but I mean, to an extent, you kind of are, right? Like if you're not putting yourself out there and it's kind of just like corporate logo, corporate identity, you don't ever see your face on your own Instagram or on your own company's YouTube. You're not front facing. And not everybody's going to suit front facing, of course not. But I think it's a massively missed opportunity if you don't do those things. Also, there's just so many platforms you can actually show your expertise and show your passion these days. Wilderness. Think about just stick with social media for a second. You got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, everything. There's so many things. Substack is one I'm focusing more and more lately if you like writing. And that's looking more and more like a social media platform. Then you turn to things like going on other people's podcasts. That's a huge one to me, and it always opens my eyes up to these cool people and these entrepreneurs, these business people. If you have a podcast that you follow, and then you see a random name that pop up, and you check it out, you listen for an hour, 30 minutes, whatever it is, you're going to learn so much more about that person, first and foremost, but about their business as well, which is the whole idea. So think about how you can go on other people's podcasts. It's one of the ones from day one that I'm like, hey, that's a great way of growing, but it still rings true to this day. Then go to things like speaking events, conferences. Another way of how I've discovered people. You just see people speaking up there, you might not even know them before that, you might not even know, I guess, why you're at that conference in the first place, but Maybe it brought you to that person that's last up on stage that you're like, hey, I think I know that name, or that name's new to me, but I'm going to Google them and I'm going to check them out, and then you realize what cool business they do. What else? There's just a ton of stuff. Like, the main thing is social media. So the main thing is, if you're a front-facing founder, you better get used to, being on camera. And it's not easy. It's not easy for me. But I should leave in stuffing out. But you get used to it. You get more comfortable as you go, and honestly, it's a good challenge. Like, forget the business part of it for a second. It's a great personal challenge to put yourself out there in front of the camera, spread your knowledge, spread your passion, and go from there. So I would just ask yourself, if you run a business, even a side brand or just something, how can you put yourself out there more? Or what would that do for your brand if you did? How many missed opportunities are you leaving on the table if you don't do these things? And I think that's the biggest part, honestly. It's the opportunities that can come from you putting yourself out there in front of the logo, in front of your business, and be like, hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing in the business. This is what I can do. This is who you're going to be talking to for the most part, or you can. As I mentioned, many people in your team could be front-facing. Me and my brother run a business, video production business. We're both front-facing. We both do our own content. It all leads back to the business, but it's a cool thing. So I encourage you to think about being a front-facing founder. A front-facing founder is a very cool thing, I think. Actually, not just it's a beneficial thing. A really beneficial thing. Anyway. Cheers.